Hey everyone, I'm Sid Vicious here. Today we're diving into the newly revealed Tier 1 relics for OSRS Leagues 5. These Tier 1 relics bring a new meta right out of the gate, and they're inspired by relics from the past leagues, Endless Harvest and Infernal Tools. These relics set the stage for your entire experience, so we're going to analyze their strengths and weaknesses and overall value. By the end, we'll see how they stack up against each other. So let's break down each relic and see what they have to offer. Let's get into it. First up, we have Power Miner. With this relic, you get a new Echo Pickaxe, which is like an upgraded version of the Crystal Pickaxe. It's the same stats, but it comes with some key features, like the mining success boost. Whenever you fail to mine a rock, you get a separate 50% chance to succeed. This makes mining more efficient and can massively boost your XP rates and how much ore you gather. It also makes it so any ore you gather goes straight to your bank. And another benefit you get is rocks won't deplete until you've mined 4 ores from them, making it great for high tier ores like Rin. This effect can stack with the mining gloves, allowing you to get 7 ores per rock. The other effect you get is you can toggle between 2 effects. One where all ores mined are instantly smelted into bars, giving smithing XP regardless of your smithing level, and the other auto-cutting gems. Any gems you mine are automatically cut, providing crafting XP, again without level restrictions. Overall, Power Miner is solid for players who want to streamline mining while gaining extra XP in smithing and crafting. Next we have the Lumberjack relic, which provides an Echo Axe similar to the Crystal Axe with amazing buffs for woodcutting. The key features are chopping success similar to Power Miner. If you fail to chop a tree, you have a 50% chance to succeed on the failure, making it perfect for high-level logs like magic or redwood trees. It also has the effect where all the wood you gather goes straight to your bank. And then the toggle effects are auto burning and auto fletching. So it can either automatically burn all the logs for you, giving you fire making XP, or it will turn your logs into arrow shafts and give you fletching XP. Although this is not as much XP as crafting bows, so it's not as strong in the fletching department. Additionally, if you decide to stockpile your logs, the relic has an added feature where you'll never fail when lighting them. So it's a pretty nice relic for players focused on woodcutting, fire making, and a little bit of fletching. And finally, we have Animal Wrangler, which gives you the Echo Harpoon similar to the Crystal Harpoon, with some awesome boosts for fishing and even hunter benefits. So the key features are, again, 50% chance to succeed on failed catches, speeding up your fishing rates for higher tier fishing like sharks and anglers and dark crabs. It again, same goes directly to your bank, and it doesn't have a toggle effect, but what it does is it has a 50% chance to automatically cook the fish you catch, and it'll grant you the cooking XP without having the level requirements. It attempts to catch fish 1 tick faster, potentially speeding up fishing sessions. What's really unique is that this relic works with all fishing methods, so your harpoon can function as a net, a pod, or a rod. Also, it has hunting benefits, so it makes it so hunter traps never fail. It makes it so chinchompas are caught faster and give double the XP. Impling jars also no longer break, and you'll never burn food while cooking it. It's kind of like having a cooking cape from level 1, which is incredibly strong. It's got a lot of versatile things going for it. for fishing, cooking, and hunter, so these relics are looking pretty strong. Each of these tier 1 relics brings something powerful to the table, catering for a different skilling paths right from the start of the league. Now that we have gotten the relics out of the way, let's get to the tier list part. I have a few categories here to help me figure out how powerful these relics are, and you'll kind of get the idea of the categories as I go along. First, let's talk about AFK potential. This measures how well these relics perform when you want to be hands-off or multitask on a second monitor while grinding. Here's how they stack up. Power Miner lands in A tier for me, because mining requires more clicks and AFK wise it's not strong. Unless if it's giving massive XP for star mining with its 50% chance to succeed on failure part of the relic. While this relic reduces the chance of rocks from depleting, you'll still need to pay attention and switch worlds for ores like Rune, for example. It's solid, but when we look at the whole tier, it doesn't compete with Animal Wrangler's AFK potential. Let's talk about Lumberjack, which I scored in A tier. It's relatively relaxed but requires a bit more interaction. This relic lets you AFK cut trees like magic trees and redwoods for probably massive XP without much clicking. Plus, logs go directly to your bank, so no inventory management needed. It's not quite as hands-free as the Animal Wrangler, but it still gives decent AFK gains. So, also the passive fletching and fire making is nice, but those skills aren't too hard to train. Animal Wrangler takes the S tier crown in this category because fishing with this relic lets you AFK for solid 25 minutes at a time, making it perfect for those who want to grind out without constantly clicking. Plus, it adds value by automatically cooking half of your catches, which means you get fishing and cooking XP without needing extra time or effort. Although you're gonna have to end up cooking half of the fish at some point. For pure AFK potential, Animal Wrangler is king. You can just AFK to 50 mil in at least 2 skills, which is a massive, massive buff. Now let's move on to active play benefits. This looks at how much these relics reward players who are constantly engaged and clicking around. Here's the ranking. Power Miner hits S tier here. For players who are willing to world hop, stay engaged, Power Miner gives you a huge advantage by letting you gather rare ores like Rune and even gems more quickly. You can also activate settings that smelt ores into bars for smithing XP or automatically cut gems for gem crafting XP, which you can later smelt and craft. This relic is perfect for active players who want efficient mining, smithing, and crafting gains, which are some of the harder skills to level up. Lumberjack gets an A tier here. Actively chopping trees lets you stock up on resources like magic and hardwood logs, which can be handy later on. And I believe the woodcutting efficiency later on with these relics are gonna be crazy, allowing you to easily get these magic and hardwood logs. However, woodcutting just doesn't have as much room for optimization through active play compared to mining or hunting. Lumberjack is still a strong choice as it speeds up 3 skills. Animal Wrangler also secures S tier for active play, mainly due to its benefit for hunter. You'll catch chins faster, which boosts your XP rates, and your traps never failing make hunting chins easier and more rewarding. Plus, with the fishing aspect, you'll be actively gathering cooked food, which is super valuable in higher level content. Overall, it's a powerful relic for players who stay actively engaged in gathering. Now let's take a look at each relic's performance in the early game, especially in terms of speeding up initial progression and points collection. We will have a better idea of these, how well they perform early game after we get to see the task list. But as a general, I rated Power Miner as a solid A tier here because mining and smithing early on are great for earning points and generating resources like bars, which can be used for armor, weapons, or even sold for gold. And crafting gems also gives you valuable crafting XP, so it's an all-round useful relic in the early game. Lumberjack is also an A tier for early game. The relic allows for easy points through woodcutting, fletching, and fire making tasks. While these aren't the most essential skills early on, they contribute to solid XP and quick point gains. Lumberjack is also a good option for some steady currency early on as well. Animal Wrangler gets an A tier for early game too. Fishing supplies you with food and cooking XP, both of which are valuable. Hunter is also easier to level with this relic, allowing you to tackle points focused tasks without too much hassle. Overall, all three relics make a strong early game choice. In the late game, we are looking for relics that provide sustained benefits and help with bossing, raiding, or high tier skills. Power Miner scores a A tier for late game use. Mining and crafting can be useful for a high tier jewelry like making the Fury, and some equipment like making god swords. While smithing remains helpful for certain tasks, it's not as game changing in the late game, but it's still strong enough to retain its value. Lumberjack falls to B tier in the late game relevance because woodcutting, firemaking, and fletching don't really contribute that much at this stage of the game. Once you've completed the main point goals for these skills, they're unlikely to have further impact. For late game, it's not the best pick. I didn't cut a single tree after I hit tier 8 last league. Animal Wrangler shines with an S tier here. Fishing provides access to high level foods like sharks, dark crabs, and anglerfish. These foods are invaluable in raids or boss fights. And Hunter is equally beneficial as chins become essential for late game range training, especially if you're off styles. With hunting and cooking both simplified, Animal Wrangler stays valuable all the way to the end. For players focused on maxing skills or hitting point thresholds like the Dragon Trophy, here's how each relic stacks up. Power Miner secures an S tier. Mining, smithing, and crafting are slow, grindy skills, so this relic's boost is a huge advantage for maxing. If you're looking to max or hit Dragon Trophy, Power Miner is essential to deal with those difficult skills. Lumberjack is B tier. Woodcutting, firemaking, and fletching are relatively easy to max, so this relic's value diminishes once you reach higher levels. It's a decent pick, but lacks the benefits compared to the other relics for maxing. It's relatively free 50 mil XP, but not as AFK as Animal Wrangler. Animal Wrangler is an S tier choice. Hunter, fishing, and cooking XP gains make reaching 99 easy, while fishing and cooking have AFK potentials all the way up to 50 million XP. Hunter is usually challenging to max, so the added double XP makes this relic a great pick for maxing and trophies. I have a special category here that I compare with the maxing category, and it's about reaching tier 8 for those interested in enjoying the endgame content rather than maxing out. Let's take a look at the relics and then we could talk a little more about this category. Power Miner scores an A tier here for me because while it's effective for reaching tier 8, it's a little bit more focused on resource accumulation and slower skills, which might not be everyone's top priority. It's not necessary to max these grindy skills all the way to get to tier 8. But making these grindy skills easy is always a smooth experience for the enjoyment of the game. Last time I had Production Prodigy and I still didn't hit 99 smithing. So, you know, when it comes to this category, it's more of a stylistic preference of how to play the game. Let's talk about Lumberjack, and here I rank it B tier. Once you reach tier 8, woodcutting and fletching lose their relevance, and this relic doesn't offer as much fun factor or utility as the others. I AFK'd on both my accounts to 99 woodcutting, and I had so many logs to use for fire making and fletching, I never bothered. Even with Production Prodigy, I CBA. And finally, Animal Wrangler, which I scored at S tier. This relic keeps you supplied with food for combat, raids, and bossing, which means you'll have the resources you need without extensive grinding. It also makes Hunter easier and extremely fast to 99, so it gets you that much closer to tier 8 by getting a pretty difficult skill to 99 for some points. Let's talk about the next category, which is ease of use and user friendliness. Starting with Power Miner, where I rank it S tier. It's easy to understand and it benefits challenging skills like smithing and crafting, making it a great pick for both new and experienced players. Lumberjack receives an A tier. It's simple and intuitive, but since its skills are easier to level anyway, it doesn't offer as much for beginners in terms of simplifying challenging skills. Animal Wrangler takes S tier again. It's great for food gathering at all stages of the game. It makes Hunter a breeze, which is especially helpful for newer players who want straightforward progression. Let's talk about the next category, which is the pro and sweaty category. And when it comes to that, we're looking at how these relics perform for players who love pushing mechanics and maximizing efficiency through advanced techniques. All of these skills can be tick manipulated, so it's choose your poison. You would refer to the other categories for a better grasp of what the relics offer, but in this category, all the relics are A tier. Now let's discuss region dependency to see if any relic relies on specific locations to unlock its full potential. In this category, the more dependent the relic is, the lower its score. But if you end up picking that region where the relic shines, it would be ranked higher. Power Miner is rated B tier for region dependency because access to certain ores and mining gloves can make a difference, especially for higher tier ores like Rune. Certain regions like Asgarnia and Wilderness are preferable for this relic, and the potential of Varlamore and mining there and getting prayer XP on the side could also be a big factor. Lumberjack gets an A tier here. Most regions offer access to woodcutting resources, so it's less dependent on specific areas. However, regions that offer Magic Tree or Redwood would make this relic even stronger. Animal Wrangler is also A tier, while regions with specific high-level fish or chins enhance this relic's effectiveness. The starter regions provide solid food options and decent hunter areas. Isle of Souls is going to solve most of your problems here, but definitely look at other regions to make this a much stronger relic. Next is Relic Dependency and Synergy. This one is trickier since we are missing info on all the relics. So for now, we'll put these in a neutral category. However, let's touch on how potential synergies could impact these relics. Power Miner might benefit from Production Master type relic, offering efficiency for crafting the items themselves. Lumberjack might also benefit from crafting or fletching boosting relics, though it's likely has fewer synergies than other skills. Animal Wrangler seems like it already has so much, it could be overkill if another relic synergizes with it. So I think if I was to make a prediction, I feel like there is some sort of Production Master type relic that will be offered, and it might go really well with Power Miner and Lumberjack. Whereas if you pick Animal Wrangler, you might be more inclined to pick something else within that relic tier. For our next category, utility looks at whether each relic provides consistent, useful benefits across different activities. Power Miner gets an A tier here. It makes gathering and training core skills easier and provides a bit of freedom from constant clicking. While mining and smithing become less relevant late game, they still offer useful XP and task points. Lumberjack ranks B tier for utility. Woodcutting, firemaking, and fletching are simple to train, so the utility here doesn't extend beyond points and the initial resource gathering. Animal Wrangler scores S tier for utility. Food is relevant throughout, and hunter gains are efficient and versatile, making it a highly useful relic in the long run. And finally, let's look at reward potential, or how each relic adds value in terms of items, and resources and XP efficiency. Power Miner takes S tier. With early access to bars, XP efficiency, and way to make money through mining and smithing, it provides rewards across early and mid-game stages. Lumberjack earns A tier. While woodcutting, logs, and fletching provide decent XP and income, these resources don't add as much monetary or strategic value. Animal Wrangler also scores S tier in rewards. Cooked fish provide steady income and boost XP, and chins from hunting are valuable for training range later on. Food is always going to be relevant for bossing and raids, so that's the reason why I scored an S tier. Now that we've broken down each relic, here's the final ranking for the tier 1 relics. To break down the scoring a little bit, the S rank receives 4 points, A rank receives 3, B is 2, and C is 1. And totaling up each of these scores within the categories, we can find their percentiles while we give it the final tier ranking. So for example, Animal Wrangler gets 41 points, which secures an S tier, and primarily because it's versatile, covering fishing, cooking, and hunter with valuable utility. It offers AFK maxing ability, which really makes life easier. Power Miner follows with 36 points, earning it an A tier, a strong all-around relic that supports mining, smithing, and crafting, especially for maxing and a little bit of money making in the early game. Lumberjack ends with 29 points, giving it a B tier. It's decent, but it fall short in terms of versatility and late game utility, as woodcutting and fletching and fire making are fairly easy to level up. And there you have it. That's the full breakdown of the Tier 1 relics for OSRS Leagues 5 Day 1 reveal. Animal Wrangler takes the lead with Power Miner as a close second. Lumberjack is looking a little rough, but it has some potential. I can't wait to see what they will reveal tomorrow. Let me know in the comments which relic you choose and why. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more OSRS content, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.